Tottenham update for today. We've got some big talking points, and we're going to start off talking about the rule change with the PGMOL, which says the PGMOL has said that the offence of holding, i.e. blocking or obstructing, will be penalised more stringently in set pieces, whether when an attacking player is trying to stop the movement of an opponent in the Premier League this season. So they changed it, they've changed it back, and surely this is going to benefit Spurs.
They never changed it in the first place. They never changed the rule. It's just players were doing it and they didn't know what to do about it. And it seemed like a change because the keepers were less protected, but there was no rule change, I don't believe, about keepers being challenged. I just think the referees weren't enforcing the rule.
So why did it change from enforcing it to not enforcing it? Because they were enforcing it before.
But because players were being more subtle and they didn't know what to do about it. And I think when players were challenging the goalkeeper, when you see Ben White and people do that, apart from when he was obviously fiddling with Vicario's glove, he's doing it in a very subtle way, and it's hard for the referees to spot, I think, a lot of the time. And obviously they can see what's happening, but it's not an obvious movement. They're just standing their ground and kind of blocking off the keeper rather than, actually challenging the keeper a lot of the time. So it looks like the PGMOL looked at that and thought they need to protect keepers a lot more and players in the box, and they're going to hopefully start reacting more stringently to those situations. I'm kind of of the belief of I'll believe it when I see it. I'm glad that they're going to clamp down on it, or they say they are. But on the incidences that Spurs were involved with, are they going to start giving fouls? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like to say yes, but I'll believe it when I see it. But on the face of it, it's a positive change. And given how many goals that cost us last season, if it is clamped down on and they are start being penalised, then that will benefit us because it's definitely something that hurt us. But I'll believe it when I see it. It's
always classic Spurs though. Like, laws always seem to change after it's affected us.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Classic. It has happened on numerous occasions. I remember when Eric Dyer handball against Newcastle, and they changed the handball rule based on that one incident. And even the Sissoko one in the Champions League final, they then changed that handball rule basically after that incident. So it's happened a few times.
I believe they've changed a handball rule as well going into new season.
The main change for the handball rule is if there's a major deviation from a major deflection. A major deviation in direction when the ball deflects off another body part and hits your arm, they will now, even if your arm is outstretched, they now won't give those as handball. Which last season, if your arm is outstretched, if the ball deflects off another body part, even if it's a major deflection, if your arm is outstretched, they'll still give the penalty. This season, that's different. But if the ball deflects off your body and it's not a major deflection and your arm is outstretched, they'll still give the penalty.
But what do they consider a major deflection?
Change in direction.
Any change in direction?
Change in direction.
Okay.
So if the ball just flicks up, I think they might still give the penalty. But if it flicks to the side, maybe they
guaranteed we're going to be having so many conversations this year about was that a major change in direction, or was that a change in direction?
Yeah, well, you can say it's not a major change, but it's a bit of a positive change, I guess.
But let's get into this news that everyone has been talking about regarding Yves Bissouma. Dan Kilpatrick was responding to the press conference, and he says Spurs have suspended Yves Bissouma for Monday's season opener against Leicester after he filmed himself inhaling laughing gas and posted it online. Postecoglou said in his press conference he's made a poor decision. There are sanctions involved, and some of those are educational. He is a footballer with responsibilities. He won't be available Monday. We've suspended him for that game. He needs to build the trust back with both me and the group. Hopefully he'll make better decisions in the future. And then he was responding to another question, and he said, behaviour, mate. It's that simple.
He was asked how he can earn the trust back.
Right. It's about making better decisions. He was very apologetic to me, the club and everyone involved, and that's just part of it. So obviously Ange ain't very happy, to say the least, about Bissouma's antics. And do you think it's right to suspend him for one game?
Considering it happened a week ago, a week before the season, if that's when it happened, I think it is right, and I think that's especially the fact that he's had these conversations with Bissouma last season about being one of the senior members. He's someone that the younger players can look up to, and Bissouma seemed at the time very committed to taking on that responsibility and that kind of role within the squad. And basically Ange was putting his trust in Bissouma at that point, saying, "Look, I want you to be one of the leaders in the group. I want you to be a good example for the young players." And Bissouma's let him down. And I'm sure Ange feels very hurt by the kind of break in trust that's happened there, and Bissouma's decision making when it comes to what he's been doing, his behaviour outside of football. So, look, the fact that it's an illegal substance as well. I think that's just been passed recently, and the fact that he's doing that, in the early hours of the morning, a week before the season, and the fact that he's recording it and sharing it around, that shows to a lack of judgment. And that I think that goes to a disciplinary issue for Tottenham, and especially when Ange, trusts it, has put a lot of trust in him. So I think leaving him out for this one game as a punishment is probably a fair punishment. Hopefully, Bissouma can put that behind him. But as Ange said, he's broken a lot of trust and he's got a lot of trust to rebuild. So it's on Bissouma to do that, and that just comes from how he acts within the team and also, giving his best when he's on the pitch.
Yeah, I think it's shocking, to be honest, when you're trying to set an example to the rest of the squad. You've got so many young up-and-coming players that are looking up to you right now, and particularly players like Archie Gray, who wants to take that position at some point in his career, being potentially CDM or a box-to-box, whatever he may end up to be. But he's got a lot of young players that he's setting a role model for right now. And to be doing stuff like that, it's not just that, it's going live and stuff 2 in the morning of a game. I think it's all just ridiculous. Like, all the players would have got notifications on their phone at 2 in the morning saying Yves Bissouma's going live, as I did that morning. So it's just like, you need to be setting the right example when you're that kind of age in this kind of squad, when particularly we've got so many young players. It's just not the example that he needs to be setting, and he needs to grow up. He needs to take on the responsibility, and he needs to start performing on the pitch on a consistent basis as well. So when you take everything into account and put everything together, it's just not been anywhere near up to the standards from Yves Bissouma. That's the reality.
It's on him how he moves forward from this. Look, he can still come back from this, of course.
Of course he can.
That's on him. He has to work even harder. He has to show an example to the younger players, and he can still come back from this, but he has to learn from this situation, and this could be a harsh learning curve here with this suspension.
Yeah. So let us know your thoughts on the Yves Bissouma situation in the comments section. Let's talk about Jamie Donley now, as Alistair Gold broke this morning saying that he understands Donley is set to sign a contract with Tottenham Hotspur and head out on loan with Leyton Orient. Should get plenty of minutes in the League One for his development. He's also he's also getting handed a contract. Orient also interested in Josh Keeley for this summer, and then Paul O'Keefe just confirmed that Donley has signed a new 4-year deal with Tottenham before heading out on loan to Leyton Orient. I did kind of expect him to get maybe a better loan than Leyton Orient. I thought maybe he was going to go to the Championship. If he was going to go to League One, I thought he would have gone to Birmingham under Chris Davis. So it's interesting that he's gone to Leyton Orient. Maybe it's just a case of keeping him closer to the team, closer to home. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I really thought he would have got a better loan than Leyton Orient. But it will be good for his development, because he should be, one of a big player for them next season and play week in, week out.
Obviously, Spurs do have a fairly good relationship, don't they, with Leyton Orient?
Kane went there, yeah.
Kane was not just went there; he sponsored them, didn't he, for a season or something? And so there's definitely a connection between Spurs and Leyton Orient. Obviously, you've got to remember, although he's 19, it's his first loan spell, so as much as he's been doing pretty well in the under-21s, and he's been doing decent when given first team opportunities. We don't know if he's yet ready for the Championship. A lot of players' loan spells, when they get their first one, is usually in League One or League Two. So it's not that much of a surprise for me that he's gone for League One. Hopefully, they can play him in a position where he can really show off what he's capable of. I don't think he's going to Leyton Orient to play left back. I think he's going to go there to play in midfield in his favourite position, in the attacking positions, so he can show Tottenham what he's capable of going forward. Hopefully, he can get that. They give him a platform to to create goals, to be able to show what he's capable of in the final third, and with a view of next season him being part of the first team, or maybe even a better loan. Maybe if this loan goes really well, he'll come back in January and maybe go to the Championship. We'll have to wait and see how he does. But I think they were a mid-table side. I can see last season in League One finishing 11th, so they're not the best side, but also they're not the worst side. So hopefully they should be able to allow him a platform to show his ability.
Well, let's hope so. And I think I'm pretty sure he'll do really well there at Leyton Orient. So we'll be keeping a close eye on him. Loan watches to come throughout the season. So big up to Jamie Donley and good luck on your loan spell at Leyton Orient. Let's talk about some potential incoming transfers now, as ESPN say that Tottenham could make a late move to sign Conor Gallagher. Aston Villa and Atletico Madrid have both placed significant bids, but Spurs' interest has not materialised into an offer. This could be a transfer tactic to secure a late cut price deal for the Chelsea midfielder.
We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the fact that the Atletico move is broken down has left the door open for another club to come in. As we've said, I mean, we're not going to make him one of our top earners, so whether he agrees to come here or whether he would rather just see out his contract to Chelsea is another matter. Obviously, if Chelsea are really desperate to sell him, will they agree a cut price fee for him? Potentially, but that still doesn't resolve the personal issues. Does he want to come to Tottenham anyway due to him having strong Chelsea links? Is he going to accept, not basically a lesser contract than probably Chelsea offered him? I don't think we're going to offer a higher contract than what Chelsea offered him.
What did Chelsea offer?
I think like 150 potentially. I don't think we're going to offer higher than that. So I still find it hard to believe this deal was going to happen. So, but as long as he's still a Chelsea player and he hasn't signed that contract and the Atletico move is broken down, is there a workaround within all these issues? Maybe, but I still find it hard to believe there is. I still don't think this is going to happen.
If he is going to go to Spurs, I do think it's going to be like they say, it'll be a really late deal in the window, like
How do you
close to
resolve
the
the
deadline.
personal, the wages?
Yeah, I mean, if nothing's been resolved by, let's say a week before the deadline or like a few days before the deadline, you never know. Anything can happen at that point.
Yeah, I guess. If he's desperate to leave and Chelsea are desperate to sell and he's willing to leave Chelsea, even though if it means not getting the contract he wants, then that can happen. Then Tottenham can come in for him and it can actually happen. But I think at this point, that's still probably not the case.
Next up, we're going to talk about Jonathan David once again. L'Equipe are saying that Tottenham remain very interested in signing Lille striker Jonathan David before the summer transfer window shuts. And after signing Solanke, I mean, I don't believe this one for a second.
Neither do I. I think L'Equipe are just keeping our name in the hat to keep his name kind of in the forefront. Or I think it's probably the agent feeding stuff to kind of garner interest in him. And
at least put something in there more realistic than we've just literally spent 60 million on a striker.
The only way I see this being any sort of realistic is if we think David can fill in on the right hand side, but I don't think that's his best position. I have seen him play there a few times, and I've seen him play there for Canada as well. But he is definitely a best up front as a striker. I don't see him being a right winger in our system, albeit the way he plays right wing isn't that unsuited. But I just don't. I'd much rather go for a winger. I think he could be. I think he is good at getting to the byline and could make cutbacks, but he's more of a goal scorer. He wants to get into the box. He wants to show his finishing ability. I just don't think he's the right winger for us if we were to sign him to be a winger. And his best position's up front. And I don't see him with Richarlison there, obviously Solanke now there. He would be competing for a lot of minutes to play up front. So I just don't see this one being a go at all.
And last but not least, it says Tottenham are considering signing Bayern Munich forward Kingsley Coman. The player is represented by CAA Base, who also represent Ange Postecoglou and other players at the club, and obviously have very close links to Tottenham Hotspur in CAA Base. Do you see this one being any sort of truth to this? Do you think this one could potentially happen?
Probably not. Because he's probably on big wages. Obviously, he's 28 now. Very bad injury record. However, the only way I would I think there could be a possibility is if we do take him on a season-long loan with an option to buy. On that basis, we see how his injuries hold up. Obviously, I do think he's a brilliant player, and I do think him on the right wing would be a really good option if he's fit, and I think he provides something really different to Brennan Johnson. He's a really good dribbler. He's really good at chance creating. I think in terms of profile, he probably fits the bill. Really quick, tricky, really good when he gets into the final third, but his injury records is really, really bad. So I definitely wouldn't sign him on a permanent, especially given that he's 28 now. But a season-long loan deal with an option to buy to see how he does, if Bayern are open to that, I think Tottenham, I mean, given the winger market at the moment is drying up, I don't think it would be the worst option.
280 grand a week he's on. So if it was a loan, with an option to buy. First of all, when the option comes around, can we fulfill those wages? I don't think we would. And second of all, if we were going to take him on a loan spell, it would have to be at subsidised wages, which another thing that we need to see Bayern open to.
Well, if Bayern want to sell him, they're going to have to be open to that. No one's paying him 280 grand a week. No one in world.
There's been rumours about Arsenal being interested in him. Do you don't think Arsenal go to that?
No. They're not. Arsenal will not sign him permanently and pay him 280 grand a week. They will not do that. I guarantee you right now.
How much do you reckon the max they go? Because they're paying Kai Havertz 280.
Yeah, but Coman's got a really bad injury record and he's 28. Havertz is a player they needed, and he's younger. They're not going to play a 28 role with that injury record, 280 grand a week. They will not do it. I guarantee you. Especially if on a permanent. Any team going for Coman, if Bayern want to sell him, they're going to have to subsidise his wages somewhat, because I don't see any team, unless he's going to Saudi, I don't see any team signing him and paying those wages.
Chelsea?
Maybe Chelsea. Apart from Chelsea. Well, maybe Chelsea, actually.
Man United?
No, I don't think United would do
not
it.
even United.
No.
All right, well, that is your Tottenham update. Obviously, if any news breaks over the course of the day, we will keep you updated.